Flow like water, flow like water, flow like water.
Hi, I'm Brit Liggett, and we're here with DYCD at Home with the next installment of the DYCD at Home Filmmaking Series. And I'm with Omar Mullick, and he is a documentary cinematographer and director. He's worked for HBO and Vice and Nat Geo and Netflix and Amazon, and we're super lucky to have him here talking about how to make a documentary film at your home.
Wherever you are at home, you've got your ready-made cast right there, your ready-made source material. If you have a phone in your hands, it is something where you can shoot and make mistakes and keep doing it. And you can even edit now on your phone. They're like apps that do everything. I got a reputation in my work when I worked for National Geographic. If there's a problem shoot, we'll send Omar. He's tough and he can solve these things, and he's calm in a crisis. And I worked in quite a few war zones too as well. But what have fascinated me as a young person in my home, it was how tough my parents were, particularly my mother. I wouldn't think twice now. I would make a film about my mother and what maybe I've gotten from her. I could interview her, or I could turn the phone on her, like the way she actually organizes a kitchen and the way she is disciplined. And you living there as a young person with the family member or the loved one have trust and access to what is unique in a quicker way than it would take me days or weeks and maybe never to get. And that is a very exciting way to make a film in the confines of your home. My favorite documentary, without a doubt, is a film called Streetwise, and it's about these homeless kids on the street in Seattle in '83. It's made by Marielle and Mark. And if you can watch that, and I think it's on YouTube, it's the best thing ever. And I saw that as a kid, and it stayed with me 20 years later because I understood those kinds of kids. If you think about this as blocks, you've got one big block, and the block might be an activity or it might be an interview. You can record a block, and then you will cut to something else. In that edit, even if it's just one cut, that's now an edit, then you have something that at least qualifies as a traditional film. If we say that the main block is me talking and then something else happens, then this is what editing is. You can move around these little blocks to make the story that you want. That is how you make these building blocks, with a big block of the moment and then these smaller little cutaways, which are these little blocks that you can drop in and then move them around. Moving around those building blocks is the core of cinema, and it's the core of filmmaking. A photographer who was training me said once, I can teach you how to use a camera in an hour, but you'll spend a lifetime learning how to see. You can teach most cameras in under an hour. So we have wide shot, medium shots, close-up shots. That's it. You know it now. Interesting to me is someone holding a camera over their head while someone's writing, and you just see the hands, or putting the camera on the ground and pointing it up, getting the focus in their face. And then maybe you can get the person in the kitchen or at the desk working on the desk, and on the left side of the frame is actually something else going on. Is the child playing? I got my start shooting skate videos for MTV. I learned more on doing those shoots than I did probably from anyone else who'd won awards, because they literally just shot what was interesting to them. That they stuck by and did that changed the media landscape. Then that became the norm. You could be nervous or wound up trying to shoot something, and you're actually shaking more than you're aware of. So if you actually move as if you are moving through molasses, treacle, or something sticky or jam, you're actually shooting in a way that when you watch the footage back is steadier than you even experienced it. And that's really important, because you want the people's eye to be on what you're pointing the camera on, not that you're shaking the camera. Some filmmakers will say to hold a moment for at least 15 seconds. And the way to do that is, because you're wound up, you'll count off numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the way to do it is actually to go 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and that is closer to a second count. Someone could be doing something very interesting for which a formula doesn't work. They have a moment and they hit their thumb and they go, geez, or they see a picture and they get emotional and they go, oh, my mother was like this, and they start talking. And when they do that, you have to go with the moment. So you have to just make sure you capture the moment, and they might run out of the door after that. So then you have to trust that actually I may not have time to get cutaways, so let me keep the moment. To do that, they might get up and go sit down because now they're upset and they want to talk. So you just move the camera with them and you stay in the moment and you stay on them. And then when you feel like you've got that moment, you can slowly move to get the cutaways, like the hands tapping or the foot tapping, the reflection out the window, or their view, what they're seeing out the window as they look out. The format will be secondary to what you are shooting and how you look and see. Now, if you take that idea, then the ease with which cinema history has changed down to we're talking about how to use a phone is something that should just free up and liberate that capacity to see and know who can take a good photograph or who can make a good film. It's your turn, if you're watching this, to use your phone to make the great film. You actually have the possibility to make the greatest film in cinema with what is in your hands. It's about what you can see and what you can trust and how you can tell it. I'm from a typical immigrant family. We're ethnically Pashtun, which basically means we're from Pakistan. The background I had growing up, where I did, and the kind of resilience has probably served me better than the education I picked up. Everything I had that allowed me to survive that had nothing to do with even the schooling I got, but it was directly related to where I came from, the kind of values I picked up from an immigrant family and being on the street.
Flow like water, flow like water, flow like water, flow like water. Oh yeah, yeah. Let me float like water.